Alright, budget magic time. Playing some standard goblins. And, yeah, this hand's fine. If we get the third land, it's pretty sweet. Pretty aggressive. And a fiery impulse. To answer something, hopefully. Bloodstained Mire. For a foil mountain. Alright, mountain go. Is this a Tarka red? Nah, Polluted Delta wouldn't be in a Tarka red. Grixis? Who knows? There's a land. So let's just... I think we just cast Mardu Scout here. And what? Fiery Impulse? Wild Slash. Same thing, basically. Alright, Mardu Scout down. It's probably Jeskai Black, actually. I don't know. Not sure. I think we just go with Hordling Outburst here. That lets us play a Dragon Fodder plus Fiery Impulse for full value next turn if we have to. Ooh, alright. Well, I don't mind Painful Truce X3. Draws our opponent some cards, but costs them 3 life, which is actually pretty sweet for us. Another Smoldering Marsh. Heel Cutter. Well, let's dash a Mardu Scout. Attack with everything. Put our opponent to 9. Play a Goblin Glory Chaser and pass the turn. So we got our opponent pretty low on life. And they don't know it, but just playing one big creature isn't really going to save them because of the Heel Cutters. Like an Ob Nixilis here is not going to get it done for our opponent. Swift Spear. Okay. What is happening? What is this deck? And Thunderbreak. Sure. Oh, there's a land. Well, I guess we... Fiery Impulse to Swift Spear. Dash the Heel Cutter. Swing with everything. Take 3 to make the Thunder Break Regent unable to block. Hit our opponent to 1. And ask them if they can answer this situation. They have to clean off our board, plus have an answer to a dashed Heel Cutter. And I guess they don't have the option. So this is like Grixis Dragons? I don't know. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, stupid dragons that we don't have good outs for. Also Swift Spears. I'm very confused. I might just be red-black aggro that's splashing blue for something. Well, considering it's a Swift Spear matchup and we're on the draw, let's take out Glory Chasers, bring in Outpost Siege, bring in some Impact Tremors, and our Molten Vortexes. Pretty much sideboard like this is a controlling-ish matchup. Yeah, that seems reasonable to me. No 1-drops, but that's not surprising since we don't have any in our deck anymore. Do got a Fiery Impulse to answer a Swift Spear or something. Zergo. I have no idea what this deck is. No clue. Well, I guess we just Fiery Impulse to Zergo. Not doing anything else that turn. Does our opponent keep a one-lander? Or are they just like playing things on their second main phase? Looks like second main phase. Alright. Krex Bloodstained Mire. Now we want to try to kill our opponent before they get dragons on the battlefield, because those really complicate things. Swift Spear. Another mountain. Alright, let's just cast this Mardu Scout. It's probably gonna die, but yep, there's Wild Slash. Huh. I wonder, let's see what our opponent does next turn. They could have saved that Wild Slash to get a Prowess trigger. Well, maybe they have a 3-drop they want to play. Another Swift Spear. Gets in for 2. Alright. What do we draw? Impact Tremors. Can we afford to Impact Tremors? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Impact Tremors. Land. We could have just played Hordling Outburst, but we'd be chumping anyway. And next turn, we can play Hordling Outburst and leave up collateral damage. Plus, with Impact Tremors down, Hordling Outburst is going to deal 3 damage right away. Alright, so we take 2 more from Swift Spears. Ooh, and a Piledriver. Well, Hordling Outburst. Oh, does our opponent have a negate? Is that what this is about? Yup. I wonder if that's worth it over playing other aggressive cards. Well, I mean, it works here. They get to counter our Hordling Outburst. But they're almost out of cards. Wooded Foothills. Only 1 card left in their hand. Gets in for another 2 with Swift Spear. Mardu Scout. Well, let's Goblin Piledriver. Pings for 1. Land. Dash a Mardu Scout. Pings for another 1 with Impact Tremors. Get in there with Mardu Scout. So all of a sudden we are back ahead, temporarily at least, in the damage race. Mardu Scout goes back to our hand. The dash creatures work pretty well with Piledriver too, since they have haste. Uh-oh. This might be something big. Kolaghan Storm Fury would be pretty bad. Just a Thunderbreak. That's not as bad. Still bad, but they also have a removal spell. Alright, their last card was Murderous Cut. So collateral damage, we can kill a Swift Spear, and then we drop to 12, and then our opponent still has us on a 2-turn clock. Or we can hit our opponent's face and drop to 10, and it's also a 2-turn clock. Alright, we're just gonna hit our opponent's face and hope that we can draw well. Yeah, if they hadn't drawn that Thunderbreak, I think we would have gotten there. But that was a pretty big draw for our opponent. It's going to make it hard for us to get out of this situation. We just don't have much good removal for it. Well, I mean, we dash a Mardu Scout, pings for 1. Get in there. See if our opponent blocks. They probably have to. If they don't, they're going to have to leave something back on defense next turn. No blocks. Alright. Well, we have outs because of how they played that. Mardu Scout comes back. Now we have some things that can win us this game. Surprisingly. Like, Hordling Outburst off the top, assuming our opponent didn't draw a negate, just wins us the game. And they're going to swing with everything? Wow. Can they kill us? What did they draw? Another Thunderbreak? Hangerback. Hangerback X2. Also, a Heel Cutter wins us the game. A Mountain is not on the you win the game list. So close. Well, even with things going fairly wrong, we were one draw away from just winning that game, which is pretty impressive. Alright, game 3 actually, against Grixis Aggro. Good lord. Really, Moto? 4 Wild Slashes? And 2 3-drops. I don't think that does it for us. Well, we got an Outpost Siege, and I like having Outpost Sieges, so 4 Wild Slashes is just, that's 8 points of damage, but when our opponent plays a dragon, they can just undo all of that. We're actually going to keep the Mountain, since we want to play this Outpost Siege. A little worried that it'll get hit by a negate, but what can you do? So I think we're just going to Dragon Fodder here. Make the 1/1s. Next turn we can choose between dashing and casting the Mardu Scout, depending on what our opponent's up to. Gonna crack the Bloodstained Mire. We'll get a tap land? Interesting. And a Swift Spear. Does it attack? We would probably just double block, actually. Ooh, Heel Cutter? Well, since we drew Heel Cutter, I guess we just dash it and get in for 5. Seems good. Make it so the Swift Spear can't block. Hit our opponent down to 14. See what our opponent has. Gonna have another odd choice next turn between dashing a creature and just playing Outpost Siege. Outpost Siege is really good in the long game. Oh, well, no choice anymore. Since our opponent didn't play a land or do anything, we're just definitely slamming this Outpost Siege while there's no blue mana for negate. And then we're just going to put it on cons and ride our card advantage engine to victory. Feeling pretty good about where we're at. There's the blue mana too. 1 turn too late. Cracks it. That is a way we can beat a dragon, is just outdrawing it. They have a Kolaghan's Command or something? We're also a land away from the double dash, which lets us hit for 8, potentially, even through 1 blocker. That's probably pretty good in this situation. 1 hit like that is probably game winning. Hangerback? Hangerback X1. Alright. What do we hit off our Outpost Siege? Fiery Impulse and Goblin Piledriver. Well, let's actually, if they play a spell, they could keep it alive. So I think what we gotta do is play Dragon Fodder to get another spell in our graveyard. Then Fiery Impulse to kill the Swift Spear. And now we'll attack with both these goblins. We will trade half of a Dragon Fodder for half of a Hangerback, if that's what our opponent wants to do. So we put our opponent down to 12. We still have a double dash play at some point. Our opponent might be able to get down a Thunderbreak or something, which would be pretty good for them. They get the Sunken Hollow, so they do have blue mana. Probably don't have... If they're just playing negates, they're probably not going to be that important at this point, now that we already have an Outpost Siege down. Although it could stop a collateral damage or something, which could be lethal. No attacks, no anything. Alright, Outpost Siege reveals Wild Slash. And we draw collateral damage. Well, let's Wild Slash that Thopter. Then we're just going to... Should we be dashing things? Yeah, I guess we just dash Mardu Scout. Attack for 6. Hopefully. It's like surfing. Kolaghan's Command makes us discard a card. Do we want to sack it? Yeah, let's just collateral damage our opponent's face. And then we'll discard Piledrive. Attack our opponent down to 5. And we still have the Heel Cutter potentially for the win. So our opponent can't just tap out for a dragon now, or they lose. And if they just leave up mana, we'll just keep attacking with these goblins. Another Kolaghan's Command would be pretty good for them to get rid of this Heel Cutter. Hangerback X1. Alright, so they play a creature and manage to leave up mana for removal. What do we get? Collateral damage and Hordling Outburst. Well, I guess the plan is attack with the goblins and sack whichever one gets blocked to collateral damage to try to kill our opponent. And that is going to force them to either negate the collateral damage or like spend removal on a goblin token, which doesn't feel too good. Do we get there? Alright, they're going to Wild Slash one of our goblins. That's fine. We still put our opponent to 2, and we have the mana to just cast this Hordling Outburst. Outpost Siege, quite the card. I guess I could have Dispel. No. Alright, no Dispel. Opponent goes to 1. Then we just slam Hordling Outburst and ask our opponent if they can beat it. They need to... It's kind of like the position of the first game. They got to be able to beat our board and stop a dash Heel Cutter. And stop a dash Heel Cutter. Probably not likely. They can't crack a fetch, and we're to the point where we could just draw a burn spell and win that way. So I'm pretty sure our opponent's just dead. Even like if they Radiant Flames to kill everything, then we dash the Heel Cutter. They could have Murderous Cut, I guess, in that scenario. Kills a goblin, revealing Thunderbreak. I don't think that does it. What do we reveal? Heel Cutter and Outpost Siege. Well, let's dash the Heel Cutter that was from the Outpost Siege. Ultimate price, but that doesn't matter. There is no slaughter pack in Standard, and it wouldn't matter anyway, because they'd have to double slaughter pack and they die in their upkeep. But sweet! We got there! This Goblins deck is actually pretty powerful for a super cheap deck. Not bad at all. I've been very impressed with it, and I don't play these kind of decks often. Cool. Well, check it out. Goblins in Standard.